Okay, let's start to the second part of the presentation. Now we are going to present some of the final products that after these 2 years working, we produce in this project. As I said, one of the main goals of the the Erasmus project is to produce products that we can share with other colleagues, with other schools from different countries. The total of the products that we will have at the end of the project will be August. But now we have about 90% of the products finally at the website. The last ones will be, I think, at the end of this month, will be all of them at the website. And we will have 21. And from these 21, we are going to present 10, if I remember correctly. But the first presentation is to present the project, the content of the project, the countries, and the reason that we have this project. If we can connect the laptop, okay. This project started on September 2016, 1 year and a half, more or less. But the idea to have this project started about 2014. Along 2 years, we were working about the idea of the project, the content of the project, how to work with this situation of immigrants and refugees. And let me now go back to more or less 3, 4, 5 years ago, the situation that in Europe we had. This 1 minute that we will have in this video is the situation that we had when we started to think about this project. If you remember, on those times, a lot of refugees and immigrants were trying to arrive to Europe, to some countries in Europe, crossing from their countries, mountains, rivers, seas. Some of them never arrived. This is 5 years in 60 seconds. From 2011, you will see here some of the most pictures and videos, short ones, that we can remember. Some of these images were really an impact. Terrible, some of them, like the last one that we will see. In this context, in this situation, we were thinking about this project, talking about what we are going to do, to talk about the reasons, to talk about the responsible about this situation, to talk about the problems and why they are leaving their countries, what are we going to do. But the situation that every day we could see into the news were this, 2016. We start here. Remember this photo. And when with the group we were talking about what to do along these 2 years, for us, as professionals of education, the most important for us, without any kind of doubt, is this.
They are children on the run from war, poverty, violence. They need food, water, medicine. They need a childhood. UNICEF is always there in emergencies, saving and protecting child refugees. Help them at unicefusa.org.
For us, this was the most important. They are refugees, they are immigrants, they have a background with this situation. But for us, the most important that we have to preserve and we have to do, we have to help, is to keep their needs and their dreams in front of our eyes to help them, to find solutions.
I don't know what I'm waiting for, but love's gonna come my way. I don't know what I'm waiting for, but love's gonna come my way.
Nikonda Sudan. Nikonda Komoro.
Oh, 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 it's gonna come my way. I don't know what I'm waiting for, but love's gonna come my way.
Yala ko ajerere kulitre. Ne yar ko. Ajerere bangala.
Oh, 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 it's gonna come my way. I don't know what I'm waiting for, but love's gonna come my way. I don't know what I'm waiting for, but love's gonna come my way. Oh, 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 it's gonna come my way.
Their needs, their dreams, and what can we offer them to save the needs, to help, to arrive to their dreams? What we have is this, education.
The future of any country depends on its youth. When conflict erupts, the path to their education is often blocked. From Syria to South Sudan to Yemen, thousands of children are dodging bullets and bombs. Once they reach safety, guiding them back to the classroom is essential. It gives them a safe place to learn and to play. Without education, they're especially vulnerable, easy targets for sexual violence, exploitation, trafficking, forced recruitment, or extremist doctrines. Whether in camps or cities, school offers these eager learners a lifeline, equipping them with the skills and confidence to actively contribute to their communities and societies. The role school plays in a refugee child's life can be transformative. And it is the one asset they will take with them wherever they go. When we invest in education, we invest in the future. 30 million young people deserve an opportunity to enrich their minds, to expand their horizons, and to help their communities improve and grow.
Along 2 years, 2014-2016, we were working with a team, and all the several partners are here in this project because we have a reason to be here. The situation is different in each one of our countries. If we go from the east to the west, we have Cyprus, a country that 45 years ago was invaded by Turkey, and now 1/3 of the country is occupied by the Turkish troops. And the Cypriots who were living in this area has to become refugees in their own country, going to the other 2/3 part of the island. We have Greece, the island of Chios, so close to the Turkish coast, so close to Lesbos Island too. We had there the first meeting, and there we found the life jacket that you can see there in the hall. The life jacket that one refugee, was wearing, and that when we had this life jacket into our hands, we were thinking about the one who was wearing this life jacket. Maybe his or her dreams become true, and he or she could walk and step on the island. Maybe only the life jacket arrived because he or she could not arrive. From Greece, the next one we have is Romania. What is happening in Romania connected with immigrants, in this case, and education? A lot of parents, father, mothers, are leaving the country to go to another countries to work. For the schools there, that is a problem, because if the school needs to talk with the parents, the reference there are the grandparents or an uncle, or maybe one of the sons or the daughters that they are 16, 17, and they had to change the role from a daughter or son to become the new mother or father of the other brothers that they, or sisters that they are younger. They don't have this connection with the family, with the parents. From Romania to Germany. Germany was and is one of the goals, one of the final points to arrive, one of the countries that they accept a lot of refugees. We have been in all of these places, and we have been visiting refugees and immigrants in all of them. Here in Germany, we could visit a lot of them and to talk with them. And they were there really happy because they could arrive to make true their dreams, to arrive to another place that they could find a better future for them and especially for their children. We have Sweden, the north, another country that they were accepting and helping a lot of refugees. We could visit there in a very nice place. So cold for me. April 5 below zero is too much for me. But we found there Syrians, people from Afghanistan. For them, that is a paradise. Doesn't matter, 30 degrees below zero on winter. For them, this is a paradise. This is a part of their dreams. We have Spain, Catalonia, and the northeast. We don't have their refugees. Some of them, but not a lot. But we have a lot of immigrants. A lot of people coming from South America, a lot of people coming from the north of Africa, Morocco, and these countries. And it's very similar than here in Portugal, that you have a lot of different countries coming, especially from the old colonies, from Brazil or the other countries from Africa. But from everywhere, we have the same situation with less quantity that our colleague Rui were telling us about. We have there in my school students from China, from Philippines, from Ukraine, from Holland, from England too. And we have to be working together. This is our team, the 7 countries, the 7 partners, all of us working around this situation. What we did, now we are going to present, as I said at the beginning, before the break, we have the different products in 3 groups: pedagogical products, intellectual products, supporting products, and one special block with life stories. The life stories arrived to the project when we didn't even think about that. It was by the life jacket that we found, that when we were thinking about the one who was wearing this life jacket, we said, okay, sure, we have at the school a lot of families, students, colleagues, neighbors that we have, people that we know, that they can tell us the feelings when they left their country, their culture, and they have to go maybe to another very different country, different cultures. What happened with this change? That is what we call the life stories. We have a blog with 55 life stories from the 7 countries, and from those 55 we publish this book that you can find in a PDF format. All of the authors of the life stories wrote in their own language, and all the life stories are translated into English. Not only the 17 into the book, the 55 that we have on the website. Now, one of the products that we had was a study to check how the different countries works to attend the needs of the refugees and the immigrants. Now, our colleagues from Cyprus are going to present the study that we publish and we have on the website in PDF. All of these products are there to download and to use them. This is our dream, that all the products that we had can be useful for your schools and your families, your students, your immigrants and refugees. And they are going to tell us about the study that we had and to present the results. Okay? Stella, Martha.
Hello everyone, my name is Martha Goulendi, and with my colleague Stella Iliadou, we will present you a research study that investigates the school policies and practices that promote inclusion of students with migrant background. The theoretical framework of this study is mainly based on the European Commission's objectives towards education. The methodology of the study will be presented, and issues concerning the population, the sample, and its limitations will be explained. Due to limited time, details regarding the data analysis will not be presented here now, but only the major results that have enabled us to concrete our conclusions and future implications. The study's basic concepts, specific policies, practices, and useful educational links and websites that this study has identified can be found on the project's website. Now, what was the rationale behind this study? During the past few years, the European Union policy has connected countries' ability for economic and social growth with the establishment of strong educational systems. Due to this, the European Union's most recent growth and competitiveness strategy targets on the improvement of educational results and the reduction of early school leaving rates below 10%, ensuring that at least 40% of European citizens aged 30 to 34 have to complete basic education by 2020. In order to achieve the improvement of educational results and the reduction of early school leaving rates, the European Commission has developed an education and training strategy which is based on 4 strategic objectives and priorities: to promote lifelong learning and mobility, the quality and efficiency of education and training focusing on literacy and numeracy, the creativity and innovation, and the most important for us, the promotion of equity, social cohesion, and active citizenship. However, the promotion of equity, social cohesion, and active citizenship was not easy. What was happening? What was the reality in the European countries? Evidence for 2013 obtained from PISA of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development indicated that there is a considerable gap between educational achievements of native and migrant students that sometimes tend to underperform comparing with their native peers. Additionally, the European Commission realized that the high flow of immigration towards the European Union tends to rise early school leaving rates and reduces basic educational qualifications. Something had to be done, and therefore, besides the promotion of equity, social cohesion, and active citizenship, a new priority was set, the one of inclusive education, equality, non-discrimination, and the promotion of civic competences. Goals exist. Priorities have been set. But is our educational system an example of non-discrimination? As active practitioners in the field of education for 20 years and more, we asked ourselves, have we managed to adapt our teaching practices to our students' actual individual needs? Have we managed to find the balance between unity and diversity? Do we always have an oriented and targeted framework that could be the base of successful policies and practices? You can guess what the answer was. So, as a result of this, the study investigates the policies and practices applied in 11 institutions in 9 countries regarding the successful inclusion, citizenship promotion, and development of students with migrant background. Which questions does this study attempt to answer? The first one seeks to identify the policies, practices, and useful resources or official links that educational organizations use upon registration to school and during attendance. The second one seeks to identify the factors that complicate these efforts. Now, the definition that is used in this study for a refugee, an asylum seeker, or an immigrant is the one suggested by the Council of Europe, and that is students with migrant background. For the collection of data, one questionnaire was prepared for our 7 Erasmus Plus partners and 3 e-twinning partners, 1 from Italy, 2 from Turkey. We had also 1 more reply from another primary school in Cyprus that hosts asylum seekers' children, as this school is situated very close to a reception center for asylum seekers. School type varies in our sample. Specifically, we had 4 primary schools, 6 secondary, and 1 teachers' training center. That is a total of 11 questionnaires, but only 1 for each organization from 9 countries, 1 from Greece, 1 from Catalonia, Spain, 1 from Germany, 2 from Cyprus, 1 from Sweden, 1 from Portugal, 2 from Turkey, and 1 from Italy. However, while analyzing data, we had identified major differences between the replies within the same country. Due to these discrepancies, the variation, of course, of the school type and the small sample, a comparison between the policies of each country was not attained. Generalizations were not attempted either, as conclusions regarding countries' national policies would be endangered and perhaps hasty, because a school policy may not actually represent what is actually done at a national level. What is important to know is that we can only speak of school policies or practices and definitely not country policies. Now, what were the issues investigated in the questionnaires? Part A investigated the protocol applied in school upon registration. Part B investigated the protocol that is applied during attendance and involvement of students with migrant background in various school activities. And Part C, the successful official links, good practices, and resources that educators use for the promotion of students' inclusion. All these resources have been gathered by the participants and categorized by language. They are now uploaded on the project's website. My colleague will continue.
Okay, so to make things more concrete, in Part A, we have investigated the protocol that each organization applies when students first register at school. The issues investigated were: which service do the families contact first in order to register at school? Is there a meeting between the school and the student's family before school starts? Who participates in these meetings and which subjects are discussed? Who helps with the financing of these families' potential educational needs. After all the issues were investigated, we have arrived to conclude that there is lack of common policy among participating countries, as we have identified different strategies and policies in different settings. This was concluded by the differences we found. For example, in the family's first contact to register at school, some families contact the municipality, others the ministry, and others they contact the school itself. Or, for example, the primary schools don't organize any meeting with the families, while all the secondary schools do so. What is also striking is that the parents' associations contribute less in the funding of those families' financial needs than we have anticipated. And we found 10% of that. So schools have been left alone with the responsibility of organizing reception and integration, as despite the European Union policy, national states are responsible for their own policies, as the Council conclusions of 2009 state. In Part B, the protocol of students' attendance and involvement in school activities was studied. The issues were: do the students attend a transitional classroom or a mainstream one? The point collected a variety of answers, but the general conclusion was that it depends on each student self. How much time do they need for language acquisition? The replies varied here as well. We had answers ranging from 5 months to 24 months. The reply was similar as for the next point, stressing again that it depends on each student. So how much time do they need to follow the curriculum as their native peers? The answer was the same as I said, which means that once they acquire language, they can follow the curriculum as well. From which subjects are those students exempted? There was an agreement by the partners that religious education is exempted, while language, mathematics are obligatory, so as music, art, physical education, and mostly for socializing purposes. Which activities do schools and teachers use to promote collaboration between students, and which factors prevent this collaboration? The conclusion to which we have arrived concerning this part is that there is lack of a complete educational strategy in the institutions, as each one applies their own ad hoc solutions that correspond to specific situations depending on each student. Evidence indicated that gender or religion do not seem to prevent teachers from designing and applying collaborative activities. However, there are factors that affect negatively the school's effort for inclusion, and the main one is language. In Part C, the issues that were studied were the following. Are there any afternoon activities organized for those students? The answer was no by all the primary schools, and from the secondary schools, only 10% replied that they do organize such activities, which shows for us a gap between school and community. Which activities are successfully carried out by the schools? Which official links and resources are used? What are the limitations and difficulties they face in their effort? While investigating these limitations and difficulties that teachers face, we came across a very important issue. It seems that teachers feel that their training in this field is inadequate, and that causes them the feeling of incompetency and frustration in applying or designing effective programs for inclusion. We mustn't forget that teachers are also learners. Strong efforts have been reported by participants for designing, applying, but basically experimenting with such practices. Except from the gap between school and community, A lot of constraining factors have been reported that involve structural elements, like curriculum issues, for instance, that was mentioned before too, or cultural elements, like language, customs, ethics. Difficulties like inadequate learning time or overcrowded classrooms were reported as well. So schools have scarce financial resources and little autonomy to cope with the above difficulties. Those individual challenges are addressed through individual solutions by each institution, as we have seen so far. However, there are social and official challenges, and those challenges demand political will and specific policy measures, which is not in the hands of the schools or the teachers. And coming to the end of this study, we ended up wondering, nations seem to have a common goal, but does national strategy, in a way that takes into consideration the individual needs of students with migrant background, really exists? And the most important, access to education is legally guaranteed. But what about access to quality education? That is our aim, and that is what we should be working for. We thank you.
Thank you very much, Martha, Stella. And now the colleagues for the next presentations. We are to present 6-7 new products, short presentations, 5 minutes each one, more or less. No, it has to be here. But you can be here if you want, no problem. Marc. Josep, hi ha una altra cadira. Estaré aquí darrere, de totes formes. Okay, now we are going, as I said, to present different products. One of the most important we had, and under our opinion, all the project need, is to have a good website and the best social networks, because we have to disseminate, we have to send our project to everybody. So now from the Portuguese team, Marc will tell us about the website and the social networks.
Bom, muito obrigado. Eu vou tentar fazer esta apresentação em português. Por acaso eu sou catalão, portanto a minha língua são o catalão e o espanhol, mas pronto, vou tentar fazer isto em português, vai ser 5 minutos, vou andar rápido. O website, nós pretendíamos este website com 3 finalidades. A principal delas é socializar, portanto um espaço de encontro para socializar e disseminar o projeto entre os nossos próprios partners, mas também para a gente das outras escolas que estão a participar, por exemplo, na nossa pesquisa, não é? Portanto, serve para apresentar as notícias, os desenvolvimentos, mas também tem 2 importantes funções. Apresentar agora, no final do projeto, os produtos finais. Já submetemos a maior parte deles no website, portanto estão acessíveis desde as diferentes pastas do web. E, finalmente, também é uma boa plataforma para avaliar o projeto, não é? Na altura que os nossos colegas da Agência Nacional, neste caso da Espanha, têm que avaliar o projeto depois de ter feito, portanto, tem aqui um bom espaço para avaliar, para apresentar o projeto. O nosso site tem principalmente estes 6 espaços. Tem o espaço dos Final Products, portanto, é o que eles agora vão apresentar. Também temos o espaço extra dedicado às life stories que já aqui apresentaram nos livros. O espaço das News and Events, com essa ideia de socializar o nosso trabalho. Uma sala de imprensa, para também ter esse contacto com os meios, não é? E poder divulgar o projeto nos meios. E, finalmente, um espaço necessário para contactar com os diferentes coordenadores locais do projeto. No momento de construir o SAI, nós sabíamos que tínhamos que falar a linguagem do século XXI, não é? Nós já estamos nas aulas, portanto, temos que falar a linguagem que os nossos alunos estão a falar. Portanto, era imprescindível criar estas redes sociais, o Facebook, o Twitter, também a plataforma do YouTube para partilhar os nossos vídeos. Portanto, isto eu acho que é uma das pontos mais fortes no nosso projeto, disseminar as nossas atividades, mesmo agora estas palestras nas redes sociais. Finalmente, alguns números destes quase 1 ano, 5 meses da vida do site. Temos já quase 17.000 visitas, mais de 70 países a visitar o nosso site. O site, a gente dedica aproximadamente 3 minutos a visitar o site. É bastante tempo a estar a pesquisar a nossa informação. E pronto, é importante também esse dado de os nossos visitantes, mais de 60% têm entre 18 e 34 anos. Isto também é significativo. Pronto, muito obrigado. Já passo a palavra. Eu acho que agora o José Psiberta vai apresentar uma das nossas aplicações. Obrigado.
Well, bom dia, good morning. I'm going to present one of the final products we have mentioned before, our colleague Josep Blasco. And this is an app you can use on your smartphone or on a website. So the goal is to make a compact dictionary which a reduced set of vocabulary which it could be really useful for immigrants and refugees they come to our countries. So there is not a general vocabulary, it's just a specific in order to keep in mind what their needs are. Actually, currently, the list contains almost 700 words which are elaborated by our partners, and we have discussed and agreed which are the most useful items. So there are several versions of the application for the two most known platforms like Android and iPhone. The iPhone is still developing, so we can request by email. And there is also in our web page the same application you can use in other devices. The main form of the application consists on 3 buttons and to edit 2 forms where you can put the words you want to know. For instance, if you want to translate some items you see on the street, or you want to say something in your language you want to translate. These buttons are translate, start with, and contains. Now there are 12 languages. Perhaps at the end of the project we will increase this language. There are the most common language used in the countries of our partners. And I'm going to explain the 3 buttons, which is really easy to use, and it's really easy to understand what they do. The first one is just translate a specific word, and it's, for instance, hello, and you can choose the language, and it shows you the translated word. Another option is, for instance, you don't know if the complete word, just you don't understand, perhaps the alphabets are different, etc. And you want to know which words they start with specific letters. So the program shows you a list of, in this case, they start with hi or hi. And the last one is the contains, is the same as start with, but you can find several words, several letters inside a word. For instance, sorry, here it goes. If the word contains MIEs and you want to know what these words are, so it's the problem shows you a list of these words. So as we said, it's a really simple application, but we think it's useful because the vocabulary is quite specific, and we agreed with all the partners just to make a complete vocabulary about the most basic needs the immigrants they want to use. So thank you for your attention, and muito obrigado. And I'm going to show the...
Now, our partner from Romania, from Busau, Bio, will present us the pedagogical apps for languages, a need that the students have, the access to the languages.
Hello to everybody. My name is Viorica Raicu. I represent a national college from Buzău, Romania, and now let me introduce you the product Pedagogical Apps for Languages. The goal of this product is to find and share applications that have to do with learning languages. This will aid the immigrants and refugees and their family to learn a target language easier. These apps can include another basic subject of the curriculum. Our product contains 6 different languages with the aims of breaking the language barrier met by refugees and immigrant students. I will present you 6 apps. For example, Google Translate, iTranslate, 50 languages, Fun Easy Learn, Beatsboard, Duolingo. These are 2 types of applications. Some help the user to translate words or long line text, or other help the user to learn foreign languages faster. First application is Google Translate. I think you know this app. It can be found at this link. It can be used by people older than 6 years. Google Translate, it's an Android app, can translate phrases and words in order 90 languages, online or offline. It's use machine translation services. It can be translated text in maybe in 26 languages, can translate a photograph text. It has 2-way automatic speak-to-translate option in 40 languages, and could be a support for fingers, handwriting without using keyboard. Feedback of this app, it's good, 4.4. Another app, it's iTranslate. iTranslate is a translation tool that helps to learn, to translate, to speak more than 90 languages. It's one of the best translator apps and dictionary apps for Android combined into one. The iTranslate message and keyboard app work perfectly with iMessage, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. It can be used to reply emails or communicate with members on Slack. iTranslate, it's available maybe for another platform like iPad, Apple Watch, Android. Feedback of this app, it's so good, 4.4. Another app, it's 50 languages. 50 languages, it's an application, it's available in 50 language normal, and in 2,500 language combination. For example, German to English, English to Spanish, Spanish to Chinese. This app combines audio and text for an effective language learning. This app contains 100 lessons that provide you a basic vocabulary or help you to learn quickly or to use a foreign languages in different situations. For example, at the hotel, at the restaurant, on the holiday, maybe at the bank, or so on. Feedback of this app is very good, 4.3. Another app, it's Fun Easy Learn. This app can be used by children with age between 6 and 12 years, but it can be used by any adult. Fun Easy Learn, it's an easy and fun new way to learn, for example, English. If you like listening music for another country, traveling abroad, or chatting with foreign friends. This app can help a child to learn how to speak quickly, for example, English language. Or this app can be used for an easy and efficient way to improve the English vocabulary, because the steps are very easy to follow since this app it's designed for children. Feedback of this app, it's so good. Another app, it's Bitboard. About this app, I can say that it's using only iPhone. Bitboard, it's a creative learning tool realized to help you acquire new facts and information in a funny way. This app contains a lot of games that make learning fun and very, very easy for any age. Duolingo is another app. It's using to learn English or not English or another language, for example, Spanish, French, Danish, Polish, Esperanto, Ukrainian, Romanian, or Turkish language. It's fun, fast, competitive, and free. With Duolingo, you can practice speaking, reading, listening, and writing skills while playing a game. Or you can improve your vocabulary and grammar skills by answering questions and completing lessons. Or can start with basic verbs, phrases, and sentences and learn new words daily. You have seen all these apps have a good review that it's why we propose this 6 applications in order to learn a foreign language easily and correctly. We recommend it to you to use this application in order to better understand. For each application, I invite after presentation to test these apps. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
What we did in this product was to check about 100 different apps and to select these 6 ones that we thought they are very useful. And now our colleague Andy from Germany will tell us about the digital map that we did as a final product.
Bon dia, dear officials, dear friends, dear guests. My job now is to present you our final product, the digital map. And first of all, I would like to show you the table of contents of my presentation. First of all, I would like to tell you what is the digital map, and second, what are the aims and main goals of our map, and third, what items are included in the map, And after that, the data mining process and the creation of the map. And last but not least, the technical components. And you don't have to be afraid. I wouldn't bother you with technical details, but I think I give you a short overview over the tools and software included. Well, our map is an interactive online map accessible through the internet from multiple platforms. For example, Windows operating system or Linux or macOS as well. And every participating partner has its own map. So we in Reda and, for example, in Strömsund or in Busau. And it contains important information for migrants and refugees. And this information is very important because we want to achieve something. We have got aims and goals. The first aim would be to provide refugees and immigrants with adequate spatial information and to promote spatial awareness in their new home. And as it is in the aim in the project, to promote the inclusion in school and society. Okay. It's very important to refer about the components and the items which are in the map. It would be public municipal buildings and items of public transport information, for example, bus stops, schools and education, like primary schools, secondary schools, kindergarten, sports and culture, for example, sport fields, gyms, and places for leisure time. Well, this slide indicates how the development process of our map has been done. First of all, we had to design the structure of the map, so what items do we want and what items are important for refugees and migrants. Then the phase of data collection in the respective city. We used this, we managed to collect the data with smartphones because every ordinary smartphone nowadays has got a GPS sensor, so we can pick up the coordinates very easily and use tables to write down the information. And these tables are added to the database of the GIS system. I have to explain this. A GIS system is a geographic information system, so we can easily store information there in the database and combine it with a digital map. So this is a special kind of software system. After the database is set, we had to export those files to the Leaflet API. The Leaflet API is written in JavaScript, it's a scripting language in the internet, which is responsible for at least programming the final product, the map. And after using this API, there is the process of publishing and validation. Well, this slide indicates or shows, especially on the right side, you get a graphical representation of the process I've already told you. The data collection manual, then the data entry with LibreOffice products, then the modeling with the GIS system, and last, the exporting of the data and the Leaflet API and the mapping, so the programming of the map. So several products and several software systems were used by our team. LibreOffice, it's a common office software available for everybody because it's open source. It's very imperative for these projects that the software you are using is open source. Then the Quantum GIS system is also open source, so everybody can use it, everybody can download it, and it's free of cost. And the Leaflet API is also open source. Everybody can use this API. Okay, now I would like to show you some expressions from our map. There are screenshots from Caldas da Rainha. The first screenshot is the general map. On the left upper corner of the map, you see the plus and a minus symbol. There you can zoom in and zoom out. On the right side of the map, you have a